So I'm just going to show you, I have like all the supplies all around me right now. I've got my paint in front of me. I've got my whole drawer of Posca pens that I pulled out because I don't know what colors I want to use. So I thought I'll just pull the whole drawer over here. I've got some glitter paint in there. I have my stamp set. So the Posca pen set, the stamp set, the ink, all of this is in my Amazon store. So you can just text the word Amazon to my phone number. It's 417-217-7044, and you'll be connected to my Amazon store, or you can find it on my website under my blog. So this is just, these are left out from last time. These are alphabet stamps that I love. And then the ink pad to go with them. I've got my waterproof pens. I've got my decoupage and my metallic gold paint that I love. These are both from Deco Art. And then last but not least, I have my scrapbook paper. So I'll probably be using some of this scrapbook paper as a background for my sky. Maybe a couple pieces. This is really cute. This was from my girls, their American Girl scrapbook set that Kylie had, I think, like 10 years ago. But I love these funky little flowers. So we may even cut some of these out and put them on there. Or we may not. You never know. I just like to have what inspires me near me, so then I can make those choices. So if you've never done one of these with me live, you're gonna see me make choices in my art while we're going. So nothing is already figured out in my head. So you're getting to see me kind of process through and figure out how I make choices in my art with my composition and everything else. So these are really good learning experience for people as well. It's good to see behind the scenes of how an artist makes their choice. So before we get started, I'm thinking I want to grab some of these blues first, because I'm probably going to put some background paper on first. So I'm just going to start tearing this paper. I personally like to have rough edges of my paper and kind of have them torn. I just like the look that it gives. So even around my edge up here, I don't want to take a lot off, but I just like the look of paper like that. Thank you, girls, for sharing and sprinkling. And sometimes we may even want to come back and use these scraps somewhere else. I am doing my mixed media piece on an 11x14 canvas board tonight. So this is a hard board. These are great for doing mixed media on, and then you can put them in an 11x14 frame. So I'm going to save all my scraps in case I need them. Probably going to position this something like this. And then I've got these other fun papers too. I love the colors in this one. I may just do, actually I want to turn that the opposite way. Kind of like it's grass at the bottom, I think. And if I ever get quiet when I'm doing this, it's just me thinking. Thank you, ladies, for sharing. And then I also liked this one just because I thought it would be more cool, like background look, like maybe the poppies are growing up in front of these other plants and stuff. So these are really fun to just watch come together. Right now, if you're watching, you may be thinking, what in the world is she doing? And how is this even going to turn into a piece of art? And that's when I would say, just trust the process. It's all going to work out. So I'm kind of thinking this is going to be my background. I'm going to move these paintbrushes over. Yeah, if the ads are popping up, you guys could just hit the X and it'll make them go away. So the first step is us adhering these to the board. I've got this distressed ink. This is like a vintage photo is the name of this one. Sometimes I like to take those edges of the torn paper and kind of give them a little bit of antiquing. Oh, I should also preface this with, if you don't like to get messy, you probably won't like mixed media. Or if you really don't want to get messy, but you still want to do this style, you could put some gloves on. I don't think it's as fun with gloves on as it is just to play like a kid and get messy. See how that just kind of ages the paper? And you can decide, I'm obviously getting it on the front some too. But I think it's going to give kind of a cool antique-y look to the background. Julie said, I started off with Painting of the Month Club and wasn't enjoying it so much. I treated myself to the tribe membership. Tons of great tutorials. Who knew painting with strangers online would turn into a mission trip to Honduras last month and wonderful new friendships? Yes, Julie, for sure. The group is full of amazing women, and I think that's the biggest thing. You guys can learn to paint. You can hang out for my Facebook Lives when I go live. But I think the thing that makes the tribe membership so special is the relationships that we build inside of it and the community. Because right now, the world is crazy. And there's always a lot of stuff going on the outside, right? We may not always agree with people and their political beliefs or Lord knows what else. But it's nice to have a place to go that you know is going to be positive, that you know is going to be filled with people who love doing the same thing you're doing. And it's just kind of like a safe haven to go. And it is also therapy. Art is therapy. When you are creating, it allows you to just kind of leave the rest of the world behind. Just like tonight, we're just going to sit here and play with some paper and paint and pens and all kinds of fun stuff and forget about everything else going on. It's our little escape and our little piece of therapy. Brenda said, I had paint all over my face today. Face, arms, etc. Yes, Helen, I agree. She said the tribe is like family. So what do you guys think of the aged scrapbook pieces? Thank you for the stars, Barbara. By the way, I always have people ask about the stars. What is that? They're basically like tips. It's how Facebook allows you to tip us if you like what we're doing. And you can purchase stars on your Facebook account. I'm loving this look though. So there's two ways I could go about this. I could go ahead and paint some blue on here first, or I can adhere the scrapbook paper on and then come and paint some blue. Carla said, I wonder if you could do the same thing, antique it with old varnish. Probably. I would think anything. I mean, you know, people even use like tea. You can use tea to like antique and age paper. The tablet here is just my, this is instead of me using a plate for my paints. It's disposable paper palette. Yes, Vicki, this is for poppies. We're starting to get the background ready. Connie said, yes, art is therapy. I love getting into painting and feel that relaxation take over. Yes. I mean, I was even thinking that today because today was just kind of all over the place. And now I can just take a deep breath and be here now. Because sometimes it's hard for us to do that, right? To just be in the moment. And I think art and creating kind of just forces you to be. So this is Mod Podge, decoupage, whatever you want to call it. I usually use a brush that is not one of my favorite brushes. Because I don't, yes, Brenda, shoe polish is another good idea for antiquing. So I'm just using like an old bristle brush because it's like glue and I don't like it to get in my good brushes that I use for paint. So I'm just gonna start by putting on a thin coat. Notice how I was smart today and put a piece of brown paper underneath my work area so I didn't get glue all over my desk. Brenda said, wait, do they even make shoe polish anymore? I think they do. Surprisingly, I think they do. So I'm gonna smooth this on. I think it needs a little more under there. It's like not wanting to stick. Apparently I need a thicker coat than what I thought. Now the one I have is, oh, actually that's kind of cool. It's smearing that. I kind of like that. This is where we call those happy accidents that happen. I didn't mean for that to happen, but I kind of like it. What was I saying, y'all? I was saying something before that happened. Maybe this. Let me show you what. I think this is what I was going to tell you. I used to use these at my paint nights all the time when we were smoothing vinyl onto things. These are your kitchen scrapers I got at Bed Bath & Beyond. They're really good when you're doing mixed media to smooth your piece on and stop it from having bubbles. So I'm just going to do a little at a time. A little extra around the edges. And then I'm just going to smooth it out with my scraper. The decoupage I'm using is a matte finish. It comes in different finishes. You can choose matte or high gloss. All preference. No right or wrong. Don't you love that paper? That is the prettiest scrapbook paper. Yes, an old credit card. Really good idea. And you can use that for other art techniques as well. We have several tribe sisters in the comments too. We're talking about my tribe tonight while we're creating, because I only open the doors to new members a few times a year, and this is one of them. And we call ourselves Tribe Sisters because it's a sisterhood. It's a wonderful community to be a part of, where I teach these women how to paint all the different ways. I teach them 3 brand new paintings every single month in a private Facebook group where you're getting to be around other women who share the same love of art that you have or desire to learn. You may not know anything about painting yet, but you want to. That is how lots and lots of these women started out inside of our group. All right, so I'm just going to push this down. To be a member of the tribe is $47 a month, or you can do the annual plan, which is $470 for the year. So that gives you 2 months for free, but that is a 1-year commitment. So I would not recommend the yearly plan unless you are positive you want to be a part of our group. In addition to learning how to paint with me 3 times a month, we have a guest artist, speaker, or crafter. You also get access to Painting of the Month Club included in your membership, which saves you another $20 a month. So technically you get 4 paintings a month with us. And then we do devotionals on Mondays throughout the month in the group. So I'm always very open about that. I share my faith in the group too. It doesn't mean you have to share the same faith as me, but I am very open about the fact that I do share it. And you can choose whether or not you want to listen to those devotionals or not. But we are a group of women that share and love and encourage and uplift. It's a very positive vibes only group. So we don't allow any negativity or any toxic energy in there whatsoever. Okay, what do you guys think so far? I'm really loving the fact that I put the aging antiquing on the edges there. Billy said, how long will open access be available? To what specifically do you mean, Billy? To these videos? These videos will stay on my page. All the Poppies videos will stay on the Social Easel. Doors are only open to become a tribe sister through tomorrow night at midnight. Sarah said, what was the pot of stuff that you used to make? It was ink. I think I got this at either Hobby Lobby or Michael's. It's Distress, but any ink is fine. This one was called Vintage Photo. So I'm just kind of feeling over this, making sure I don't see any major bumps anywhere. Yes, okay, so Billy, to join tribe, yes, you have until tomorrow night at midnight to sign up to be a tribe sister. So I'm gonna stick that paintbrush in my water and let that soak. And then I'm gonna start pulling in some of my colors that we used in our sky on the other versions. This is just, this one's called Bahama Blue, but any teal that you want. Not tonight at midnight, tomorrow night at midnight. We close tomorrow night at midnight. Oh, thank you, Sherry. I love getting to meet you. Sherry is one of the tribe sisters. We just got back from Honduras. So that was like another little part of us opening a trip up to go bring tribe sisters with us to Honduras and do an art camp with kids at an orphanage there. And we absolutely loved it. It was an amazing time. And that actually, I keep forgetting to mention that because it's something new that we're doing now. But whether you are a tribe sister or a Painting of the Month Club member, $1 for every member that we have every single month is going back to the organizations. And $1 a day feeds a child 3 meals per day through rice bowls. So that's kind of where we got that number. So knowing that $1 for every month that you are a member with us is going to feed a child who otherwise would not have food. Rice Bowls is an amazing organization that we went with, and they're the reason that this orphanage has the amazing food that they do have, and it's allowing these kids to come back from dire circumstances back to healthy and thriving children. I think I forgot my paper towels. Let me grab some paper towels real quick. So right now, that's just craft acrylic paint that I'm putting on here. I'm gonna go back. I've painted it obviously directly on the canvas, but I don't want it to completely cover my pattern up. So I'm gonna add some more water on my paper, which by the way, I brushed the Mod Podge over top of that. So it's sealed a little bit to where that paint is not soaking into that paper to where it's gonna tear. And I'm just gonna rub some of that off. I like that, that's looking pretty cool. Amy, we would love to have you go to Honduras with us. We are doing another trip in November, and registration is open to sign up for that trip. So if you guys want more information about going to Honduras with us and doing an art camp with these kids, we would love to have you. We have about 15 spots open on the trip. And if your heart is in that and you would love to be a part of it, we would love to have you. Okay, I'm just gonna lightly kind of brush this over, trying to decide how much color I actually want on here because I really like the antique-y look of the background. I'm just gonna dip this right into water. A baby wipe would work really good for this too. I don't have baby wipes right now, so I'm just using water and paper. I just love the look that that gives. Even when you rub it off, it picks up and is heavier in some spots. The trip is November 19th through the 25th. So we are going over Thanksgiving to spend Thanksgiving with them, which is really exciting. I don't think they celebrate Thanksgiving, so that'll just be a time for us to, you know, share with them what we're thankful for and thankful for getting to be there with them. So we're really excited about that. And then the way we planned the trip, we did it that way so that students could come, because we would love high school, college-aged kids to do this. We had a couple moms, including myself, bring our teenage daughters, and it's so life-changing for kids at that age, number one, but the kids there loved having the younger ones there as well. So we planned it that way because kids are already out of school a little bit over Thanksgiving break, but you'll also be home that Saturday and Sunday that you can still spend your American Thanksgiving with your family. Cheryl said, I'm working on a canvas and my paper is not sticking well. Yeah, so Cheryl, ideally you want to work on a canvas board because it's a hard surface. Canvas has a lot of give, so it's a little harder for it to stick. So you may want to put something underneath your canvas to make it solid so that you can push against it and get your paper to stick on there easier. Thank you, Grace, for sharing. Thank you, Billy. My heart is in Honduras now, so I will be going back several times a year, along with my family. That's what I loved, seeing my girls just as invested as Corey and I were. So I'm going to get some of my darker teal. I think I actually want to kind of dry brush some of this on. So I'm going to go into an old ratty chip brush that I have, just to add some more texture and brush strokes to it. Make it a little darker down at the bottom. I recently did this on one of the paintings I taught inside of Tribe with my angel wings that we did in resin, and I just wasn't happy with the background color, and then I did this dry brush over top of it just like this, and it turned into the prettiest background. So if you can't see that, it's picking up the grooves of the canvas and then just kind of dragging over certain areas there. Do any of the girls follow in my footsteps with painting? They are all creative in their different ways. Kylie, my oldest, says she's not a good artist, but she's wrong. Her art is just in different ways. She's a great photographer. She was actually the photographer on our trip in Honduras. Emma is my middle and Sophie's my youngest. They are both very creative and artistic. So I'm anxious to see what they choose to do with that. Paula, we were like in the middle of nowhere. We flew into the Palmyra airport. I'm probably saying that wrong. And then it was like almost a 3-hour bus ride to the orphanage. Okay, so I think I like this. Now, remember me talking about stencils? We don't have any stencils on here yet. So I'm thinking I want to add a little stenciling in. So I'm just going to show you some of what I have. I've got all these different stencils I get from everywhere to add patterns. This one's pretty fun. Maybe I'll do some of that on there. Or if you just want to add polka dots in some areas. The whole point of mixed media is there's just a bunch of random shapes and styles in there. So we're not trying to be realistic. This one's kind of fun. Maybe put some of those in, like layered flowers. You can also use, I have some tissue paper here. If you want to use tissue paper, that's another option. We might use that in some of our poppies. I'm just dragging this all across my wet paint, I just realized. Look at this mess I've made. I forgot I had wet paint there. That's okay. Let's just smear it on here and see what we think. Remember when I told you you're gonna get messy? I'm thinking maybe some little white polka dots up here. then I want to do some gold. So this is Deco Art Metallic Gold. This one's Vintage Brass. Any of their golds are gorgeous though. So I'm going to stencil in some of these little flower shapes. Now you could also use, I'm just being messy with this, you could also use a makeup sponge to dab this on. That's what we do when I'm doing stencils in a live class. Oh, look how cute that is. I love that. Oh, I definitely want to add some more of these on. We'll have some gold little flowers mixed in with our poppies. We'll start with 3. I may decide I want to come back and add more. But you know what this is making me want to do? Is pull some gold along the side. Isn't the gold a pretty addition? So personally, I think the faster you do this kind of stuff, the cooler it's gonna look, because you're not overthinking it. And when you start overthinking in art, I used to tease my women that I taught in-person classes for years. I'd come up and I'd like show them a step and I'm like, okay, I want you to do this fast, because when you're faster, it's freer and it flows more. And they're over here thinking about every single little brush stroke they're doing. And then they would say, I don't understand why mine doesn't look like yours. And that's why, because sometimes you just have to move fast and be free and not try to control every little thing you're doing, because if you do, that's what it's going to look like. I'm just kind of using what's left in my brush. I am loving this background so far. Amy said, what is the trick to working with stencils? I always have smears. Make sure you're holding it down tight and then just dabbing lightly. When I talked about doing the makeup sponges, you want to work in layers if you're doing that, and dab lightly the first time, then come back with a second coat instead of, you don't want super thick gloppy paint when you're doing stencils, because it will seep underneath. Okay, we've only got the background done so far in 45 minutes, but honestly, that's usually the longest part is is getting the background there, but I am digging it so far. Y'all ready for some poppies? That's funny. Gail said, I love your laid back smile or style. Smearing the wet paint when you didn't intend to makes me think you're the Julia Child of painting. I just decide, oh, let's use it and see what happens. You never know, right? We're never going to know unless we try. So I could just paint some poppies on here. Or, look at that, I got paint all over that one too. We can start tearing some pieces of paper to go together to make some poppy shapes. That's kind of what I'm thinking. About did it again. All right, I'm going to tear off a smaller piece so I can control this a little bit more. Could even do kind of a round-like shape, maybe just 2 pieces. Hey, Khalees, says the background is glorious. I can't wait to see the flowers pop off. Thank you. I think they're going to be fun. And we don't have to do them all the same. Patricia said, so pretty. I'm having a discussion with myself wanting to join. Then I realize I can't keep up with a monthly one. So, like I said, there are several tribe sisters here in the comments. First, I want to say, don't think that every tribe sister is painting 3 paintings every single month and just always keeping up with the calendar, like on that kind of time frame. Everyone has times that they can work in the painting or that they give to themselves to do that. You don't have to paint with me live every single week. When you join, you're going to have access to the current month's content that I'm teaching for 3 months. You also have access to everything that I've taught in 2022 so far. So you can take your time, pick what you want to do, pick what projects you love, and it's so much more about painting and keeping up with the painting and a lot more about the community aspect of it as well. Brenda said, how do you just magically make a flower from torn paper? Let's see. So that was Mod Podge that I'm putting down. I'm not watching the comments right now, but I know some of you guys are answering her. And feel free to ask questions. You guys ask questions while I'm teaching, and then I'll scroll back and comment and answer those. And we've also got Tribe Sisters and my team as well here in the comments to help answer questions. So this is kind of what I'm thinking for some of them, maybe not all of them. Sally said, I love Tribe. I haven't done a painting in a few months, but I love watching and learn so much from observing. And you will. I do that too. You know, like I still learn from other artists as well. I'm always learning. And I learn a ton just from watching, not always from actually painting. You'd be amazed the amount of techniques you can learn. So then when you do go to paint, you have that memory of those things that you learned. Oh, I kind of like how irregular this shape is. Oh, what about, let's use this one as an open poppy. Okay, that's like the perfect shape for an open poppy. Yes, Rhonda, I love that. She said, one of my favorite sayings is comparison is the thief of joy. I love saying that because it is so true. We are all painting for our own pleasure and should always be doing it at our own pace. Everyone has different amounts of time of painting amidst the rest of our everyday activities. I love looking at everybody else's paintings, but I also recognize that we are all at different levels. That is summed up perfectly, Rhonda. I love that. And it is encouraging and also inspiring to see all the other work that is going on, and that you get to have a part in lifting someone up as well. Let's do, oh look, here's a perfect angled one for a poppy pointing down. Maybe add just a little. Oh, how about that? How about we overlap it? Okay, so I think I'm gonna do 4 in this kind of style. And then I think I'm going to do the other ones painted and maybe add some scribbles with my paint pens and different stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna go into red. And same thing, we can paint some darker over here. I'm just gonna go dab in some paint here. Leave my polka dots showing a little bit. Then let's come back and add some more blobs on. We've got an open one. Let's do another small one right here. All right, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think maybe leave it like that. Let's get some orangey color in our poppy. And I'm probably gonna smear this just a little. So a lot of times when you're working with mixed media too, it may seem like, well, why did I do that if I'm just gonna cover up all the paper? But you are still gonna see it through there. Maybe dab it a little, create a little different texture there. I can see my polka dots through. So I'm gonna lift this up so you can see. So you see the polka dots kind of coming through on those. I'm gonna leave that little space there. We're gonna go darker there. I'm gonna go ahead and get some of my green. Team on here, if you'll throw up the link to join tribe. When you guys go to that link, you don't have to right now if you don't want to miss part of the painting. But there's a whole FAQ section on there. It's really going to walk you through everything that you get access to inside of Tribe and hopefully give you a better idea if it's a right fit for you. Okay, so I've put my green on here. I'm going to pull a little bit of green into my red to make more of like a burgundy color. Tone it down a little bit. Add a little darkness in certain areas. And then we'll start adding the green on. I think I was thinking about this. Let me test this out. See if I like this color enough. This is our green Posca pen. When you're using Posca pens, you want to make sure that whatever you're drawing on is already dry. This is going to be a really easy way for us to do some stems. So you treat these just like a marker, except they have paint in them. So they're super handy. And if you don't want to paint fine lines, this is your get out of jail free card. You can just do this instead. And we may come back and add, this is like an olive green. I may come back and add some brighter green to it. Sue's asking, why did I switch from Arteza to Posca? I like the consistency of Posca pens much better. Their coverage is much better. I still like the other ones. There are certain colors I like in Arteza, but overall, I think I would always pick Posca. A little thicker than I wanted. That's okay. We're just gonna leave it. I'm thinking it looks really cool now that we've got the stems on there. Where do I want this other one? Let's go here. Now this is a super, super bright one. Let me shake this up a little. Sorry for the annoying shaking sound. know what? I kind of just like, sometimes I'll just start scribbling with my Posca pens too. I'm really loving this bright green color. These scribbles that I'm doing mean absolutely nothing. They are not supposed to be anything. I just like the addition of that color to the painting. Sometimes it is just fun to scribble all over your art. Someone's asking about stars. I think you have to set it up on your Facebook account before you can send them. Jill, I hope you don't burn your dinner either. Okay, it's starting to come together. So while I'm letting some of this dry, because there's more I obviously want to do inside the poppies, I'm going to use my stamps, and we've got this perfect space right here that I didn't even plan for, that I'm going to put some lettering. And one of my favorite Christian songs is You Make Beautiful Things by Gungor, if you've never heard of that. And I just love that God can make beautiful things out of a hot mess like me. Out of a bad situation. He can make beautiful things that he surrounds us with in nature. And so that is what I'm going to put on mine. You make beautiful things. Now I have to collect all my letters. So this may be a second here, folks. Jean, mine are the medium size. And I have a mix of uppercase and lowercase. I like to mix my stamps up. Okay, I think I'm just missing an L. Maybe I already pulled it. Okay, let's start stamping. Let's see if I can zoom you in a little bit. Now also, my lettering is not perfect. I don't care if my little sides of the stamp touch on there. I just love all that stuff. This is what makes it unique. This is what makes it yours. You ever start to spell something and then you're like, wait, am I spelling that right? Beautiful. Don't want to spell it wrong. I can't tell if this is a, I think this is the U. That's an N. Someone type in the word beautiful for me. just so I'm not second guessing myself. Isn't that funny? Do you ever do that? Sometimes you stare at a word too long and you're like, that's not right, but it is. Maybe it's because I'm mixing uppercase and lowercase and it's throwing my eyes off. Okay, I can't hold all these in my hand. We're gonna start. Thanks for all the beautiful comments. But this is what I think is fun about this painting. Don't you think it's cool how it just starts coming together? With no plan, nothing specific. And God just gives us that creativity to be able to do something like this. What I do with that N? Here it is. Oh, I like this G better. Yes, Rhonda, that was Pickles. That's her special little bark. Now all we need is an S. Here we go. I want to tell you what is a miracle is that I have actually kept all of my alphabet and I have never lost one of these stamps. For me to be able to say that is a big deal because I am a very unorganized person, especially when it comes to my art supplies. But I have tried to make a point to put all these back in when I'm done. What do you guys think? Don't you love the stamps? Now, they are not in alphabetical order. I'll tell you that much. But they are all in here. If you have OCD, you would not be able to function in my office. But we are not done yet. I told you, mixed media is always the longest one. But we're close to being done. Rhonda said, what are you going to do when your best organizer moves to college? I guess I'm just going to have to get it figured out. I have started trying to get more organized, like buying these. Oh, y'all, I almost spilled this whole thing on the floor. These acrylic drawers that I've started putting my stuff in are very helpful. So I do have an assistant that works with me a couple times a week, and hopefully before she has to move on, she'll be able to help me tackle my office and get it a little bit more organized. Okay, we did it. They're all back in there. No, I do not clean the stamps. You probably should. It's never even crossed my mind, to be honest with you. Okay, let's zoom back out. I don't want to zoom too far because I kind of want you to keep seeing things a little bit closer. I do have to say, this is probably one of my favorite mixed media pieces that I have made. Ellen said, if you would just move to Texas, I'd keep you organized in a heartbeat. All right, let me straighten the camera view again. I just love it. I don't even know how much more dark I want to really add to it, but of course we have to do the black, right? I put all that green on my palette and then I ended up not even using it because I used a paint pen instead. So I'm gonna grab my white Posca pen for some detailing. My black one. Probably, ooh, this is a good red. I'm gonna have to prime this one. Thank you guys, I'm glad you're liking it. Oh yeah, check this red out, it's super bright. That's really pretty. Okay, let's get our centers inside of here. Now you, of course, could do this with paint too. I think I might leave them more scribbly, I don't know. So sometimes I do outlines, sometimes I don't. You can decide what you want to do on yours. What do you guys think? You like the outlines around them? Just adds a little bit more definition to them. Yes, they are acrylic paint pens. I think I want to go back in the red. I just love this one. Who else in here likes to scribble? It's very stress relieving. Let's see. Oh, I've got this darker red. You could even add that on outlines. Oh, I didn't even outline this guy. I think that's when I was still deciding if I wanted to. Okay, last but not least, we're gonna come in and add a little bit of white on here. Oh, this guy needs black around him. So when I do them around the stems even, I'm not going right on the stem. I'm just going around it. Maybe let's do some scribbles around it. I'm kind of liking the scribbles on the outside. What do you guys think? Okay, the last thing I was going to try is I just wanted to see what... I've got a couple different orange Posca pens. I want to see if I want to add any orange in these poppies. Neither one of these are primed. I love the touch of the white. Isn't it crazy how just a little thing like that can add so much to it? I really think this is going to be the winner. Just remember, if the scribbling makes you nervous, you can always paint over top of it, or you can take a wet paintbrush and just blend that in. Let me shake this up a little. Ooh, look at that orange. It's subtle, but hopefully you can see that. I think I might need to shake it up a little bit more. Uh-oh. Found some wet paint. I love the movement that the scribbles give to it. Now, if you wanted to do an overall sealant of this, because we have, you know, all the different things on here, and you just want to be sure like everything stays put and stays down, you would want to do like an acrylic spray after this is dry to finish it and seal it. But what I will do with this, I'll actually show you guys. Let me just go ahead and show you where I'm going to put this. I've got this little gold frame. This is what I have in this gold frame right now. One of my favorite paintings. But this is why I love doing this. Is painted on canvas board. Canvas board you can slide in and out really easily out of open back frames. This was an old ugly frame that was just, you know, brown, like you find them at flea markets. You probably have some old ones around your house. And I spray painted it gold. And now it's one of my favorite frames, and it's what I use to put my finished pieces in that are on canvas board that I love and I want to have in my house. So it's a little wet in a couple areas, but I think I'm good. Ta-da! So easy to change out for the seasons. Yeah, if you guys liked that jar full of sunshine, you can actually buy that tutorial individually. It's one of my most popular ones I've ever done online. Look how good it looks in a frame.